not do anything close to that. So now Jimmy going to have to try prove that he can do the same. Is going for the electrocute. So we actually saw Arya up against a ranged matchup go for the Comet, just trying to find some poke there and have an easier lane for himself. Jimmy going more that damage, more that all-in style with the electrocute, going to have higher burst.
The scaling on electrocute for this champion is ridiculous. It's actually not the laning phase, I think, where you feel it the most. It's in the late game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, now, Gemini actually up this top side, going to put down his ward there for his top laner. Just in the first bush, interestingly enough. Oftentimes we do see it placed in that second bush. But I think that actually usually happens when you're the ranged top laner against a melee, trying to avoid having that bush to play around the vision.
Yeah, and we will not be seeing Urgot invading this Lilia at all. I'm not sure what CFO are cooking. I think they're trying to steal the Raptors. They've warded their own Raptors and are going for the enemy Raptors, but will be spotted on this ward.
Yeah, and Gemini should be quick enough to be able to get to the Raptors. Now, it is going to be Driver coming down, There is Driver coming in to try and stop this from happening, and it will at least delay this blue buff from getting taken out, but Gemini, being the Lilia, should be able to take this Raptors camp down fast enough that Cast is not able to respond, although he is pathing. Yeah, he's pathing up there, so maybe going to see some action. It is Corki, of course, that's going to have priority, and I think Gemini has to be somewhat careful here.
This is insane.
Just get flashed on, and who got it? Karsa got it.
Karsa got it.
Karsa off the flash. Gemini's going to be able to get out.
Is that worth his flash?
We'll see. I mean, he's going to have to prove it, right? But now there isn't going to be much gank pressure coming out of this Maokai. He does give himself that early lead.
Yeah, he's up a camp. Do you use your flash to go up
a camp?
Yeah.
Well, he used his flash to die at a Scuttle Crab once, so I like this better than that interaction he had.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I thought it was going to be a split map, and that would have favored Frank, but yeah, not the case. Just going to be Karsa with an interesting approach to the early game. We'll see how it goes. Gory is just out of mana here. Does have biscuits.
Yeah. Now, I think the one concern is like Maokai, you kind of want to get on the map, look for these early ganks. With that Twisted Advance, that point-and-click lockdown is going to be much harder. Near on impossible without the flash available. So it does, while delay Gemini getting to that level 6, getting to that sort of power you find out of the Lilia, it also is going to hinder his early game as well.
Yeah, it feels amazing for Jimmy and in the mid lane who, is already half HP, would have to be worrying about a Maokai flashing onto him, and maybe Sword Art showing up too. Sword Art already halfway up river, but heading back to bot lane now.
Yeah, now, Driver, importantly, last time he went up against Yijang's Riven in a professional game, died level 2, so he's at least not had that happen again, as heavy trades in the mid lane, not necessarily favoring anyone, just extremely even. Oh, no!
Lord, there it goes.
Oh, God!
Yeah.
I mean, how easy was that? Look at Jimmy, and Jimmy's having a little laugh for himself. Not going to do the mew just yet. Not going to start mewing on him, but...
yeah. I mean, he probably just can't believe he's been given this champ another time here.
Yeah, I mean, that was barely a champ thing, I'd like to think. Yeah, the burst is insane.
Yeah, just disrespecting Electrocute,
that was
right?
Insane disrespect.
Yeah, he got a stack of his passive from the E on Aurora and then followed it up with a QQ. Made light work of Gory.
Yeah, I mean, now a lane that probably was going to be suffering for the Aurora certainly won't be now, as he is just going to be that much quicker to get to his lost chapter where he can just start constantly clearing out these waves with that Q and E.
Yeah, and here Gory has an HP and CS advantage, but he lands this E, so that's one stack of the Aurora passive. The Q, auto Q, proxy electrocute, activates the Aurora passive.
Oh god, back to live, and that's the second death.
Gory's used his flash as well. No flashes used on the side of Frank.
Oh god.
And this is what we mean by saying that CFO lives or dies by Gory.
Yeah.
His support and jungle have not come to help him out this game. They often just are in his lane so often because of how aggressively he plays. When they're not there to support him, he's just feeding.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is an insane start for Aurora. We already think Aurora is a champ that can 1v9. Well, if you start 2-0 at 5 minutes, you definitely think that's going to happen.
What happens here? He Valkyries forward onto the Aurora here, completely disrespecting Gemini being there. Also Valkyrying on the wrong side of the map with his Maokai on the top side. And that assist is going to feel really good for the Lilia, who, again, was denied that camp. Karsa sacrificing his flash there.
Yeah, at least Kaiwing does walk over a wall, so the vision is there now. Gory not likely to fall to this gank. But still, it is pressure that he's not going to like, especially with that flash going down. It means he can't play aggressively at all. maybe not even able to regardless. But honestly, the big winner of this entire thing, you know, of course it is Jimmy, but the rest of the map now just has to sit there and survive. Jiang, probably not an easy lane to navigate as the Riven necessarily.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't have to. He just has to sit there and get whatever farm he has and play around this massive Aurora ult that can come through in these team fights. And Riven's going to love that. A bunch of people trapped in a small, isolated area. Your Riven, every single ability you have is AoE.
Yeah, and I know that Riven scales insanely well. I'm not sure how Urgot's scaling looks. I'm assuming the Riven just outscales in this matchup. As both supports just have to sit here and babysit their mid laners.
Oh, yeah. Gory, Jimmy going aggressive, threatening that ult, and does force the Valkyrie away from Gory. Once again, going to lose pressure here in the mid lane. There's going to be a trade, however, of this dragon for the Void Grubs. Gemini getting that very close.
Yeah,
very
they
low.
can maybe contest.
They might be able to fight. I don't think they can get here in time, although Gemini's coming down. He's not level 6, can't throw a bowling ball and look for anything. Though, there it is. Gory, he has no flash still, but is going to be able to get away safely into his jungle.
That feels pretty nice if you're CFO. You're definitely in a power trough on this entire bot side. Corki with a tier, Ezreal with a tier, and a glowing moat. So you're not feeling strong on these carries at all, and you only have tanks to back them up. So nice to get that dragon. So, Frank not upset with getting the Void Grubs themselves.
Yeah, and Gemini now level 6. Shouldn't going to have to be careful. If he gets hit by a ball, can just be taken out pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I hate this from Frank. I did say I wanted to see them play around bot lane, but enable Jimmy to just stomp this lane that he's been destroying.
Yeah, let him push and then play around bot lane, I think could be a good way to look at this. Although there is no objective up, and they honestly aren't forced to do anything, because when this Aurora champ is going to come online, it's not this stage of the game. Obviously, yes, stronger than Gory right now, but you just want to wait for these objectives, look for those big 5v5s, utilize the AoE and just the mobility that Aurora has access to when that ult is popped, and play around that.
Yeah, Jimmy's been on the end of some bad trades. This Corki does look quite strong into the Aurora, but out of mana now is Gory, so that should be the end of the pressure on Jimmy in the mid lane. Both mid laners going to take a back, and yeah, it's fine. The Corki does scale, right? But you hate that you've given this Aurora 2 kills.
Yeah, and I think Aurora, while probably scaling, like similar to Wei scaling, right, where you can have a lot of impact in the team fights, you're not necessarily just going to be completely 1v9. It is just such a good team fight comp that's been built. You get stuck in that ultimate. There's a Lilia, there's a Riven, there's a Zeri.
Yeah, every champ uses this so well. Even at Alistar, we saw it was Ray Farkey on Cassante playing around his Aurora walls with his ulti.
Yeah.
You can shove people into the Aurora wall to do bonus damage to them. Alistar can even do the same thing. Driver so far built himself up a bit of a CS lead.
Corey just able to get out.
Wow.
Nice edge there, was that engaged, but it is going to cost now that ultimate out of Aurora, the flash as well out of Komi. He doesn't have Hex Flash, so certainly a massive cooldown to be down. Yeah. Gory does manage to survive that one.
Yeah, and Gory plays so well on those knives edge moments where, he is just one pixel away from dying, but, figures out a way to navigate a fight so that he lives, and the enemy team ends up expending a lot of resources for nothing.
Yeah, in the meanwhile, though, Wako getting the better of Shun in that 1v1 down the bot side while Kaiwing and Sword Art were missing. Picks himself up a tower plate. Sword Art now going aggressive. Won't be able to connect on that stun. And so now Frank will be feeling completely fine. Although Kasa is in this bot side. So is Lilia, but I would be more scared of an engage coming through from the Maokai than the Lilia at this stage of the game.
Yeah, Sword Art aggressing there because he hits level 6 before this Alistar, who doesn't have flash. Would have loved to get an engage there, but not willing to commit his own flash. Ezreal can have trouble following up on those kinds of engages. Yeah,
and Zeri with just a lot more AoE at this stage of the game. It is a Sheen completed now for Shun, which will feel nice, but ultimately the other side, it's not like Wako is lacking. He also has that potion, that elixir, for extra adaptive force in those trades.
Yeah, neither ADC is super excited to fight at this point in the game. So Gemini has not really made up the CS deficit yet, as you'd kind of expect him to on a Lilia. Should be a much faster jungler.
He has spent time, though, ganking Gory and looking for things along the map, and Kasa really has done nothing just yet but Sit in his jungle and
Karsa
farm.
could be in trouble.
Yeah, Carson may be in trouble. He's being looked at. The knock up. He does use that Bramble Smash. Flashes away with the Lofting Lullaby. Here comes Nature's Grasp. The hit away there from Kaiwing, but Karsa is going to go down. So it's an advanced Gemini with the movement speed. He's going to get him. The True Shot Barrage does find its mark there from Shun, but his jungler is certainly going to be taken out. That's a loss of flash for both junglers, but the kill, importantly, does go over to Frank Esports. It goes over to Gemini, and both these AP champs now feeling very, very strong.
Yeah, ends up being pretty sloppily played by Frank, but they get it done just because Karsa is so out of position. Look where Sword Art is. And this is what I was talking about these two players needing to link up. They're on opposite sides of the map right now. Once the bowling ball lands, it's almost just guaranteed. Now, this is where it gets sloppy. Gemini should never tank that Maokai ulti there, should let his Alistar tank it, and ends up losing his flash because he does tank it. Nonetheless, they get the kill, and it's an amazing start for Frank.
Yep, 3-0 up. They're up 1k gold at this stage of the game, and they have what I would say at least is the stronger teamfight composition. Gory playing aggressively in this mid lane has his flashback up and available to himself, so it does feel like he is able to be a little bit more pushed up in his wave, as well as, of course, his jungle and support in the area to protect him.
Yeah, and we see this so often in CFO games, just 3v3s in the mid lane, because it is usually just Gory playing so aggressively in the mid lane that he draws both teams to him. And when he does, he's usually good for the outplay, but massive disadvantage this game.
Classic trade of Aftershock there. Nothing really too important.
Yeah, no one too excited to hit the enemy support.
Now, I have to look at cooldowns. This dragon is now up and available. Of course, so are the Void Grubs if Frank or CFO choose to give up this dragon in exchange for those Void Grubs. But at least for now, both teams...
is finished.
On the bot side, Malignance is completed, so the strongest champion on the map alongside Gemini potentially is Jimmy, and their 5v5 potential very, very strong.
Yeah, it is bizarre that Kaiwing's taken a base here.
Yeah, just low on health, and honestly, it feels like maybe they're able to delay long enough as Karsa is just going to back away from that dragon.
Yeah, the problem with this base isn't that they lose the dragon, it's that Karsa can now get himself... He was way out of position to trade these Void Grubs earlier, but now can actually go pick them up. And if you're CFO, again, you're happy to make this trade with how weak your carries are this early on. Let's see. No, Gemini is just going to leave the Void Grubs.
Yeah, I don't think you really care that much about the 3 Void Grubs for 3 Void Grubs. You already got the first ones. May as well take this dragon, get that stacking online, especially with just how strong you are at the moment. Yeah, I think the dragons are just way more important.
Yeah, especially with Karsa's entire bot side up as well. If Gemini realizes this, he can
Kaiwing's already scouted that out.
As well as look where Shun has to stand now. Just cannot walk up to his lane. Instrumental in a lot of these CFO games is Shun, and he's not getting the resources he needs.
Yeah, still doing well for himself. Just sitting somewhat even with Wako, although Wako has pulled slightly ahead. Now Shun definitely needs to be very careful here. Sword Art on the way down, but there's a potential they can just look for the dive. Kaiwing, he misses out on that Pulverize, but he does go forward, and that is going to be everything used down on this bot side. Teleports even come down. Lasting Lullaby into Shun. He does use that cleanse, but Jiang, as well as Gemini, are going to be able to pick up that kill now. Teleport comes down on the bot side. It is Driver arriving to the play as well. 5v5. He is able to get that fair beyond death. That is one kill over the side of CFO. Jiang trying to outplay. Jiang going to get taken out. There it is, the stun, and a double kill for Driver here on the Urgot. Gory now being looked at by Gemini, Jimmy, and Wako, but will be able to just walk on out, and that dive does go pear-shaped, and it goes in favor of CFO.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure how it's gone pear-shaped. I'm surprised they don't fight alongside Jiang in the bot lane here. We'll see what happens. It felt like Frank just got split up, maybe had to chase Shun a little too far, as Kaiwing, really well played by Sword Art to make Kaiwing tank this many turret shots. Gory does have to blow his flash there, but I'm surprised the carries of Frank don't just turn around and come help their Riven here. They have a numbers advantage, but decide to just leave their Riven behind. I think they had some more fight in them, considering they've got items completed and the other side don't. As well as Gory just being zoned out of the fight. But nonetheless, Frank call off the play, and it ends up in their bot tower going down. This Urgot took that down in a second.
Yeah, and now with that misplay, it is actually CFO who give themselves that slight gold advantage. Now 400 gold in their favor, as they look pretty strong. We have that Triforce now in line for Shun, looking towards Gory to be able to pick himself up that item as well. But this Hull Breaker, I mean, it's not an item we see very often in competitive. It makes a lot of sense on the Urgot, and that is just how he was able to take that tower down so quickly in the bottom side.
Yeah, we'll see. That should help him a lot in this 1v1. But that does give us an idea of what Driver's planning to do this game. Never leave the side lane, you would assume.
Yeah, now, probably a little bit of quiet time on the map. No, Rift Herald is spawned, but we don't really see either jungler too excited to pick that objective up, especially seeing as Sword Art and Gory on that top side are just looking for the recall. Now, they are deploying back to that side of the map as Jung almost certainly coming down to the bot side to match this push from the Urgot. It's going to be a very tough task for Jung to deal with these super minions.
Yeah, the Hullbreaker is a very greedy item in the sense that if you're ever forced to group, it is a terrible item, but in the side lane, it's an absurd amount of stats for the money you spend, and will have Driver looking very good in this 1v1.
Rory going aggressive here onto Jimmy and winning out on that trade, at least for the time being, but Jimmy unable to trade back very well. 1Q landing would be the death of Gory, and there it is! It's massive. Jimmy in once again, the second solo kill of the game.
Yeah, complete outplay from Jimmy and just dodging all of Gory's skill shots. Gory just decides to stand and deliver. Hits less skill shots than Jimmy does. Items were even at that point.
Finding everything he needs and more as Jimmy here. 0-3-0 now the score for Gory, whereas the 3-0-0 planted on Jimmy and scoreline. He's teleporting now to help out his team get this Rift Herald. And there doesn't seem much chance of any form of engagement, although Caster and Sword Art are coming down. Kaiwing, Marco, they're going to have to come. It's a 3v4 if they are able to get there. Nature's Grass comes through. Who's tanking this up, though? Kaiwing's trying to get there. It's going to be Gemini. Gemini is able to get the smite. Here comes Sword Art, though. He comes in with absolutely everything, and Gory is able to teleport in. There's no ultimate available for this Aurora. Now, Wako going mental. He does use that lightning crash, and he's finding a lot of damage. It's going to be him to pick up that eye of the Herald, but it's Shun finding the damage. It's Shun going forward. It's Wako with the most fantastically timed dash, and the fair beyond death from Driver missing means Frank, they do lose their jungler, but it's essentially an extended 1-for-1 plus the Herald in their favor.
Yeah, amazingly played by Wako, who's kind of the hero for his team in this fight. Gemini and Kaiwing just completely out of position here to tank the Maokai ulti. Ends up him and his jungler getting hit here. Gemini gets zero value in this fight, not even hitting multiple members with his Q flash. But it's Wako very strong at this point, actually up about 30-40 CS over Shun on the Ezreal.
Cast is so lucky he didn't follow all the way under that tower of it. He almost certainly goes down.
Kaiwing is pretty lucky. The range on the Urgot ulti isn't just slightly longer.
Well, back to live. Driver and Jung fighting it out. Kaiwing now here. Jimmy in as well. And here comes absolutely everything. There's no way out for Driver. He does try and trade back, but it's not even close as Jimmy now secures himself a fourth and having a fantastic game here on the Aurora, making CFO look like clowns for not banning it.
Look at the bot side river vision for Frank. That is just a sloppy death from Driver. That map is completely black for him and lit up for the side of Frank. He was really pulling away with this matchup, able to roam a lot more than the Riven. As you saw, he made his way up to River to shoot a Hail Mary ulti, as well as just pulling ahead 20 CS.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about pulling ahead 20 CS.
Yeah,
Marco
80,
up 40 as the Zeri into this Ezreal. Now, he has received a lot more attention than Shun has, so you'd expect him to be up, but this is a substantial amount, and it's going to lead to this Runans coming online very, very early here for Wako. But meanwhile, on the top side, Kaiwing being looked at, he does have access to that ultimate, will use so. But Gory here, Gory on the backside, Gory flashing onto Jimmy, and just taken out. That's almost a solo kill in return. Nowhere for Jimmy to go, and a shutdown in favor of Gory. Luckily for Frank, though, Baron not alive and shouldn't lose too much, as they did manage to pick up that dragon.
Yeah, Driver commits his TP, but Jiang does not. I think that is the wise move to make, but I'm surprised Jiang is not continuing to shove this lane. Guess he has to catch the wave at his tier 2 bot. Jimmy picks up his second item now. The top laners both with theirs already completed.
Gory coming in, not even getting that second item online and just essentially one-shotting Jimmy in.
Yeah. I mean, you see why this Corki is so prioritized. It is a very strong pick despite starting the game 0-3-0.
Yeah, and now gold essentially even, but Driver coming out the big winner, up 1k on anyone else across the map. Only Jimmy even stands remotely close. And he, despite solo killing Gory 2 times, is actually down in gold.
Can't keep up in farm. Yeah, look at the CS. He's down 50 CS at 19 minutes. Aurora hasn't looked like the best champion at farming in these side lanes, but you don't expect this much of a CS lead for a Corki who's just straight up dying 1v1 constantly.
Absolutely not. Kaiwing getting himself some vision up on this top side. The Baron well and truly alive now. Both teams will do this immensely quickly. So any mistakes in macro, any mistakes in micro will almost certainly lead to this Baron being taken out in sort of the time you can blink, really.
Yeah, both teams way too quick at doing this Baron. Miramana online for Shun, almost online for Gory now.
You see the importance
of taking the Hex Gate.
Yeah, this could be very, very scary though for Sword Art. Jiang on that bottom side, Hex Flash coming through. He's looking for Gemini. He's going to find it. Here comes absolutely everything. This is such a good lockdown. Gemini is able to get off that Zhonya's, and he will be able to get off the Latting Lullaby. It's on to Jiang. Jiang trying to get in here. Can he find the Execute? He might be able to get Driver as the Baron. Going to do the damage. And Jimmy trying to use this Aurora ult, and he's using it pretty well. Jiang flash forward, but Gory's going to answer in kind. That's a double kill now for this Corki. It's Jimmy with all the speed in the world trying to get himself out, trying to get himself a trade. Sword Art here, invisible for Jimmy, and as Shun jumps forward, gets the auto attack, and out of nowhere, it's a very, very clean ace. Only Driver going down, and CFO, they're going to get the Baron.
Yeah, I have no idea how CFO managed to win a fight that cleanly. It looked really dangerous for Sword Art to Hexgate where he has, but you kind of see in this fight why the Maokai is usually picked as a response to the Lilia, not the other way around. This Maokai ulti has just shut down Gemini, who had a great start in every fight. Wako also just goes down without accomplishing anything in this fight. I think Shun just one-shots him 1v1. Yeah, Shun just shuts down this Zeri by himself. Insane team fight from him. He had to carry. He had his 2-item spike. Jimmy not able to land any meaningful ulti in this fight either.
Yeah, I mean, Sword Art just showing how good he is, right? How good he can truly be, just finding these team fight angles. Despite the deficit they have actually found themselves at, it's him.
Didn't even commit his flash, by the way.
Yeah, it was just a Hex Flash over that wall. Now he has the flash available, the actual flash, the real deal on the Rel. As CFO now pretty comfortably in the lead. They were trailing after the back of what was a disastrous mid lane phase, I guess the laning phase. Jiang going to teleport out. No way to stop that as the Corki.
Yeah, very online is this Corki now, and actually just finds himself ahead of Jimmy, and this early game has been completely fumbled, or the mid game rather, has been completely fumbled by Frank.
Here comes the next blast. This is going to confirm at least the tower almost certainly will go down. Oh, Kaiwing finds a 2-man knockup, and the lofty lullaby. Shun, he's in no man's land. He's taken out. There's a shutdown, and Jimmy bouncing back and forward. He's like a ping pong ball. He's going to live. Driver's going to get taken down as Lilia and the rest of Frank continue to go forward. Sword Art almost certain to fall as well as Gory will make his way out. And now Casa as well as Gory, all that stands. They know where Casa is. The bowling ball will miss. Are they able to find their way onto this Maokai? It is not looking all that likely, although yes, Kaiwing is here. The headbutt pulverize can come through, but the flash away from Casa means that he is going to survive. But Frank, they pick up 3. They're going to delay any form of push on this Baron. In fact, turn that on its head and find themselves at a lead.
Yeah, and Kaiwing sees an insane engage from Sword Art, returns the favor, actually catching them off guard once. How many times have they used this Maokai ulti and just won the fight off of it? Kaiwing catches them off guard. Jimmy finally connects with a big ulti, and you see how well all his champions on his team use this ulti. Aurora is so instrumental in this comp as set up for all of these champions. Once the Riven and the Zeri can just pile on, Wako even going for the Runans for more AoE. And if it's not Gemini getting engaged on, these fights look really difficult for CFO.
Yeah, but CFO, they're going to pick up this Dragon. I think wise decision by Frank to realize, you know, we just committed absolutely everything in that last fight. Our Zeri ult not quite up. Give them the Dragon. Let them take that. We'll go focus on this top side, take out a tower, maybe even 2 for ourselves. As Jimmy now is getting to work on that, the Void Grub's going to help out as well.
They do need to get someone bot lane to help Jiang. It's not worth losing this bot tier 2. They've got 2 members on it. On the side of CFO.
Yeah, Kaiwing coming down. Jiang certainly not able to walk up to there. As this mid lane tower also going to fall almost certainly if Shun gets access to hitting away at it. Now, Gory with the recall means that pressure on the map is going to fade for the side of CFO.
Yeah, you're happy with that if you're CFO, though. Tier 1 traded for a Dragon and a Tier 2 is amazing. The gold going exactly where you want it, onto Gory and Driver.
Jimmy still low. He's staying up in this top side.
Yeah,
trying to get some farm
do some more
for
farming.
Himself.
Yeah,
very far behind in terms of that CS. Actually down on items despite how well he played that lane phase.
And I'm guessing there's been a lot of Wako catching these waves in place of the Aurora because he is 30 CS ahead of the clock on the Zeri.
Yeah, but how often do we say it, right, that we want Wako to get the resources? So I think in general this is a good thing, but honestly, Jimmy and maybe not getting enough for himself.
Yeah, considering the start he had.
Yeah, he can't just come in and ult is the good thing.
Yeah, we were talking yesterday about this Aurora champ feeling like it could be viable even in the support role, just because of how impactful her ultimate can be in teamfights. Is CFO going to pick up this Rift Herald about 2 minutes ahead of the Baron spawning? And there's a Rift Herald. Sorry, the Baron spawning. The Scuttle Crab. yeah. Jiang has a serrated Dirk in his inventory.
He does.
Is that an Edge of Night or something?
Yeah. What could it be? I guess Edge of Night. Yeah.
That's the only item that makes sense to me.
Yeah, because the other item I thought about was Serpent's Fang, but it doesn't make sense at all.
Unless he wants to just Giga Chad go opportunity and just flash onto this Ezreal or Corki, I'm down.
Yeah, Youmuu's similar concept, just sprint at them.
Yeah, I'm kind of fine with that. These are the two champions that it's very difficult to catch in the Aurora ulti. So I don't like Gory's delaying a QSS for so long. I think after the RFC, he should definitely be going for that. Now, one Lilia sleep can just end the game.
Yeah, but it is Wako we have to look towards as the side of Frank. If you are a Frank supporter, to be that damage through the Aurora ult, to really look to carry. He's recalling now. LDR should be picked up in base, or maybe the shield bow. That is the shield bow, so a little bit more safety he is now afforded on the Zeri, as well as, of course, the damage that comes along with that item. Now, Baron spawning very, very shortly, 30 seconds away as CFO, they're going to be able to come and take control over this dragon. I mean, of this Baron, sorry, and River that comes alongside it.
It's going to be the Jack Show finish now for Driver before Jiang gets to his third item. The side lane just never having any priority for Jiang.
Level 16 now, though, is Jiang on the Riven. Have to see how close Wako is. Wako about halfway, just under halfway to that level 16 Zeri ultimate. Jimmy is looking for something. He goes invisible. Coming, not able to find his way in there. Too many people around, maybe not realizing just how many people were sitting there guarding Xun, allowing him to farm up in this mid-wave. Now, Xun also, akin to what Wako does on the Ezreal, goes for that third item, Bloodthirster. Not necessarily the item I think makes the most sense, but it's something that the PCS AD carries have favored. In comes this ultimate, though, from the Aurora, Nature's Grasp, and answer. But Gory's been found. Jiang found him. He's on his one trick, and he's making it look like he damn well is. His caster flashes away. Going to be able to use that Hextech portal to get himself to safety, but it's a double kill for this Riven. And Xun not able to find anything in that team fight. Gory just taken out, loses flash. 5 members of Frank now on this Baron as CFO look for damage in this mid lane.
Yeah, it looks like they'll pick up the tier 2 here, certainly. So it's actually a pretty massive trade for CFO. I think an overinvestment towards the Baron by Frank. They're going to have to get a lot out of this Baron in terms of towers to just justify the tower trade here. It was Edge of Night for Jiang, and this time around it was Jimmy and just committing his ult early, making sure he can get a decent ulti on this Aurora, and Karsa and Sword Art, who are usually so good at peeling Gory, just can't get to him because they're stuck in the Aurora ulti, and they end up just flashing to not be able to help. Wow, Karsa getting out there is massive.
And the wherewithal for Jiang, he's in the middle of 2 people, but he sees Kaiwing land that combo onto Gory, immediately flashes over there to make sure they can secure the kill, get that mid lane threat out of there, and Jiang from there just able to pretty much do whatever he wants on the Riven.
Yeah, ends the fight before it starts. Xun doesn't even bother throwing a spell in that fight, just walks his way down to mid lane. Same for Driver. They both just decide to go for the objectives, as Frank should be okay to pick up this Baron. I'd kind of like to see someone in a side lane, considering they have Baron buff.
Yeah, Wako able to lifesteal there off those Raptors. Gory gets hit. He doesn't have QSS. But Jimmy's not going to pull the trigger.
He doesn't commit. He has Wako there with all his sums up to follow up onto this Corki. They decide to not pull the trigger, though.
Oh, this game is on an absolute nice edge, and admittedly, that is where Gory loves to live.
Yeah.
That's where he oftentimes thrives in the last team fight, not able to find what he wants. Now there's a flash available for Jimmy and here on the Aurora, and no flash, no QSS for Gory on the Corki. He has to play so damn well to navigate this next team fight, or his jungle and his support have to just peel for him. like they've never peeled before. This dragon, it's Dragon Soul on the line, and it's Soul Point on the line.
Yeah.
And it's the Hextech Soul.
Here we go, onto Driver. Frank need to get their butts in gear right now because they're wasting their Baron.
Yeah, the Baron is sort of fading away as Kaiwing getting very aggressive as a Sword Art lands that stun onto this Alistair as the Baron is going down and down. 1 minute left. Nature's Grass comes out. This Dragon getting so focused down. 2,000 HP. The Smite away. Caster gets it. Not often do we see that on the top side, though. Kaiwing, he's just eaten up. Completely eaten up there by this Urgot as the Fear Beyond Death finds its mark. Now it's a trade back as Jimmy able to take down Shun in this mid lane. 4v4, but the Dragon secured for the side of CFO, and the Baron near on entirely wasted.
Yeah, how many times do we see Gemini win those smites? Karsa gets the better of him here. Massive advantage for his team now, and I mean, Frank just looked completely confused with their Baron buff. They have double TPs up and just stand around the Dragon for a full minute. Their Baron has 20 seconds on it now. Massive play by CFO, who should have lost a lot there.
Yeah, didn't though. Well played by them, realizing they were under no concern of the Baron and just sitting there, brute forcing their way to that Dragon with, of course, the Nature's Grasp, one of the best abilities in the game to allow you to do that, and Gory positioning well. Shun did get taken out, so there's some downtime here for your Ezreal as he does work towards his Sherelda's Grudge.
Yeah, Wako and Gemini had to commit their flashes to get onto him, though. Those are going to be sorely missed when this Baron is up in just under 3 minutes now. Driver maybe caught out in a side lane again, though.
This will be the second time he has flash available, but there's 4 members here, and there's no Baron on the opposite side of the map. Driver with a fantastic flash. He is going to get locked up now, though. He has no way out of this Aurora ult. As Jung trying to zone the rest of CFO away, and will do a correct job at doing that. No way to get through this river. No way to support their Urgot. And Driver, for the second time in a row, caught out in that bottom lane.
Yeah, and it felt like CFO were ready for it. So I was worried for Frank when they commit so hard onto this Urgot. He was so tanky. You saw how long it took to take him out, but CFO decide to not go for the fight.
Yeah, Jiang actually just bouncing away from his team, not DPSing the Urgot, and just sitting between him and his team.
Yeah, making sure his teammates are safe. Intelligently played fight from Jiang, who's going for Serilda's now, I assume.
Yeah, will be that Serilda's Grudge coming through for him on that Riven. It's also very likely that Wako's extremely close to having that LDR online if he does choose to go for that. I guess it could also be the Mortal Reminder. We'll have to wait and find out.
Yeah, a bit of lifesteal on the enemy team, healing from the Maokai.
Yeah, Mortal Reminder it is.
Yeah, okay. I like the Mortal Reminder.
Yeah, me too. Now, I mean, I said it before, game's on a nice edge. 1.5 minutes until this Baron. Frank, I mean, they should have all the pieces of the puzzle. It's very difficult to teamfight, admittedly, up against this Maokai and up against this Rel. But they have been doing well. Kaiwing been going down early, but taking a lot of that pressure. But I think, really, we need to see Jimmy and find a massive ult, because we haven't seen that for a long time.
Yeah.
And we know for sure he's capable of it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure the ult even needs to be all that massive. 2 members looked good enough, as long as his teammates can get onto either Ezreal or the Corki. It's kind of, yeah, it feels like it's on Jiang to find an AD carry on the enemy team.
Oh, Shun! Okay, that's nothing. Yeah. I got excited, but he's just going to be able to jump out. Now, Malignance, and obviously just so much cooldown reduction from that Cosmic.
Yeah.
He's going to have his ult back before this Baron.
Yeah, I mean, it's already a quarter of the way back up by the time Shun has cleared a couple creeps.
Yeah, it's going to be back up about the same time as Marco finding some
nice damage.
Yeah.
Will be for naught, unfortunately, as Maokai plenty of healing in his kit, and Warmog's finished on Sword Art. And it feels like in these fights, with all these massive team fight champs, it still just comes down to which support finds a better angle. With maybe the caveat, if Jimmy can find some ridiculous ulti, he can get it across the line for his team. Frank looking to maybe just hit this on spawn.
Yeah, maybe. There is both 80 carries missing flash, but Wako's will be up before Shun's.
Yeah, Cosmic Insight. Most likely slightly up before Shun's.
Yeah, but Shun is probably the safer 80 carry, although Zeri no slouch when it comes to that either. It is Frank with control over this river at the moment, but that Scuttle Crab doing wonders to provide vision there for the side of CFO.
Yeah.
Jimmy, look at him. He's just waiting in that side bush. They found their way onto Shun. It's going to force out everything. He's going to get locked up. Oh my god, it's both carries. Gory, he does manage to somehow make his way out, but it's Frank winning this team fight. Look at Jung. Look at Jung just rampaging through. The flash forward. Gory trying to run away, but Wako won't allow it as the double kill comes through. And Frank Esports will clear this team fight. Only Carson survives. It's 5v1, 35 minutes into this game, and it should be Frank now almost certainly picking up game number 1.
Yeah, this will take a miracle from Karsa. He does have Smite to maybe suicide onto this wave, smite the cannon, but the next wave isn't all that far away for the side of Frank.
Yeah, and the only person spawning is 15 seconds on a Rel. That's not going to be enough. There's 5 members. Can he get the wave? He goes on in. He tries to get it. He's done a lot of damage. There's 1 minion left, though, in the teleport. 2. Both TPs, but they are going to have enough minions. This last tower to go down. They are tanking it up. Only Sword Art here. Up goes the Rammus. Okay, thumbs up Emoji. And down goes CFO's Nexus as Frank now lead the series 1-0.
Yeah, and I think it just came down to Kaiwing found the engage before Sword Art could in that last fight and allowed his team to cleanly follow up. No Ezreal E makes Jimmy's life on Aurora so much easier.
And what an engage it was.
Yep.
What an absolute engage that was. Finding both the carries for Jimmy and to then go in and find both the carries. Gory narrowly making it out of that Aurora ult, but ultimately it was enough. Jung, so much was used to run away from the Riven, and if there's any champ you're probably not running away from, it's exactly Riven. She has 8,000 dashes on a 0-second cooldown, able to catch up, able to secure that team fight win, and